I'm Anita. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a Starlight bracelet made with Czech Firepolish beads in 4mm. You can also do this design with 3mm beads. I'll show you an example of that at the end of this video. In addition, you're going to need 11/0 seed beads, and I'll have the approximate counts and measurements in the description box. If you click more at the bottom of this video, you'll see a description box open up, and I'll have a detailed list of all the supplies you need with the weights and counts. You're also going to need a magnetic clasp and size 10 beading needle, flat nose pair of pliers, and I'm only using that to flatten my fireline. It makes threading the needle a little easier. You're also going to need a sharp pair of scissors. So for the project, each star you'll need 24 of your Firepolish beads. And the length is determined by however many stars you're going to be making. In today's project, I'm going to be using 4mm Firepolish, and I'll be making 6 stars. And I think the end result will be about a 7-inch bracelet. So get your materials and let's get started. You'll be threading 24 inches of fireline on your size 10 beading needle. So let me clear this off and we'll get started. We're going to start our project by threading our needle with 24 inches of fireline, and I'm using a size 10 beading needle, and you're going to be picking up a Firepolish and an 11/0 6 times. So I'm using 4mm Firepolish and a crystal AB finish and galvanized gold seed beads. Now I'm going to be alternating colors on my star, so I'm using both the crystal AB and the rose AB finish. So once you have your 12 beads on here, that's 6 Firepolish and 6 11/0s in this sequence. We're going to bring that down to our thread, and you're going to leave about a 5-inch tail to be able to tie a knot. So that's what you should have. So we're going to loop this around and just hold on to your tail thread. If it makes it easier for you, you can use a stop bead. So from here, I'm going to bring my needle back through all of the beads, going through my Firepolish, the 11/0, pull your thread, and just keep going all the way around until you're back where your tail thread is coming out of. So we're almost there. I'm going through the 11/0. Now I'm going through the Firepolish and the next 11/0. So I'm coming out exactly where my tail thread is, right here. So set your needle down, and we're going to do a surgeon's knot. So to do a surgeon's knot, take your tail thread, cross it over your working thread, like that. Now go through the loop with your tail thread 2 times. And pull tight. Now you're going to take your tail thread, cross your working thread in this direction, go through the loop once, and pull tight. So we can clip this tail thread off. So this is what you should have. So your thread right now is coming out of this Firepolish bead. We're going to advance our needle through the 11/0, the next Firepolish, and the next 11/0. We just want to get away from this knot. So now we're going to pick up 2 Firepolish and 1 11/0 seed bead. Like that. Bring that down. Now you want to bring your needle, skipping the 11/0. You want to go through this next fire polish bead, like that. Pull your thread. Now you're going to pick up another fire polish bead. And from here, you're going to go into this next 11/0 right here. Pull your thread, and that's going to create the first point of your star. So we're going to repeat that step. We're going to pick up 2 4mm fire polish beads and 11/0. Bring that down to our work. Now you're going to skip the 11/0 and go back through the last fire polish bead you added. Pick up another 4mm fire polish. Now you're going through this 11/0 after this fire polish right here, like that. So I'll do one more with you. Pick up 2 fire polish beads and 11/0. Now bring your needle, skipping the 11/0, go through the next fire polish bead right here. Pull your thread, pick up another fire polish, and go through this next 11/0. So I have 3 points so far. So go ahead and repeat this step all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get to the last point. Okay, I'm coming down to my last point. I've got my 2 fire polish and my seed bead on my needle, exiting this 11/0. Going to pull this down to my work, skipping the 11/0 and going through the last fire polish bead I added. Pick up another 4mm fire polish and go through this next 11/0 here. So that completes the star. So from here we're going to reinforce. I'm going to go all the way around, go through the next fire polish and the 11/0 in the circle. Go through the next fire polish and 11/0. Pull that nice and snug. We're going to do a half hitch knot here. So just go under a thread bridge, like that, with your needle. Pull that till you have a small loop, then bring your needle back through the loop. Pull tight. Advance your needle through the next fire polish and 11/0 in your circle. Do another half hitch knot here. Go under a thread bridge. Bring your needle through the loop and pull tight. And advance your needle through the next fire polish and 11/0. And if it gets caught, just be careful to pull that through. We'll advance through a couple of more beads, and then we're going to cut this thread off. So there's your completed star. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the same process, but we're going to be doing one in pink. And for this pink star, from here on out, each star that you, because we're going to be adding these components together. So the next star, we're only going to make 4 of the points. So get your needle threaded with another 24 inches of thread, and I'll meet you back and we'll get started on the next star, and then I'll show you how to put it together. With your needle threaded for the next star, you're going to do the same thing and pick up 6 fire polish and 6 11/0 seed beads in this order: fire polish, seed bead, fire polish, seed bead, etc. So once you have that on your needle, bring that down, leave about a 5-inch tail, and bring this around, and we're going to sew through all the beads again like we did on the first one. So I'm going through the fire polish, the 11/0, the fire polish, pull that nice and snug, and continue going all the way around. So when you get to where your tail thread is, we're going to do our surgeon's knot and a half hitch knot right here. So take your tail thread, crossing over your working thread. Go through the loop twice, pull tight, take your tail thread, cross over your working thread in the other direction, one loop, pull tight, and clip the tail thread off. So from here, we're going to advance our needle through this 11/0, fire polish and 11/0, just to get our needle away from the knot. Pull that nice and snug. Now we're going to start our star. So like we did with the first one, you're going to pick up 2 fire polish beads in the rose color and 1 11/0. Pull that down to your work. Skip the 11/0, go back through the last fire polish bead you added, like that. Pick up 1 more fire polish bead. Kind of hard to see the hole on these. There we go. So now you're going through this next 11/0 right here. Pull your thread, and that is your peak, first peak. So we're going to do that 3 more times, and I'll meet you when we get to that 4th point, and then we're going to connect. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, I'm coming to my 4th peak here. I've got 2 fire polish and my seed bead on my needle, bringing that down to my work. I'm going to skip the 11/0 and go through the last fire polish I added. Pick up another fire polish, go through this next 11/0. So I have 4 points made, like that. So this is where we're going to do the connecting. Okay, now I've already completed the rest of these stars here to save time for this video, so it won't be quite so long. So just pretend that these other stars aren't here. So we're connecting this pink star that we completed to the white star that we just did. So just remember, when you're connecting, after you've done your first star, you have to do all 6 points on the first star. Then every star you add after that, you only do 4 points, and then we do the other 2 points of the star is where we do the connection here and here. So from here, I'm coming out of this 11-0 seed bead right there. I'm going to pick up 2 of my pink fire polish beads, like that. Now from here, typically you would pick up an 11-0, but we're not going to because we're connecting to the 11-0 that's already here. So we're going to just pick up the 2 fire polish, then bring our needle through this point that has the 11-0 that's parallel to this, like that. So from here, we're going to skip the 11-0 and go back through this last fire polish that we added. So I'm going to pick this up and just kind of hold it with my fingers, skipping the 11-0, going through the last fire polish bead, like that. Pull your thread. Might be a little loose at first, but it'll tighten up after you add this next bead. So from here, we're going to pick up another pink fire polish bead, exiting here, going in through this 11-0 that's next in line on our pink star. Like that. And if you have a problem with your needle getting through any of these beads, if you have too much thread going through, you can always switch to a size 12 beading needle. Okay, so from here, we're going to pick up 2 more fire polish beads, just like that. Bring that down to our work, and we're going to connect to this point here where the white star is. So I'm going to go through the 11-0 right here, like that. Pull your needle through. Now we're going to skip the 11-0 and go through the last fire polish bead you added, like that. Pull that snug, pick up another fire polish bead, exiting here, you're going to go through this next 11-0 right there. Pull that snug, and as you can see, that's how you connect your stars, like that. So after you've gotten through that, after you've gone through that 11-0 seed bead, you're going to advance your needle through a few more beads in the circle. So we'll go through the fire polish, the next 11-0, pull snug, going through the fire polish and the next 11-0, pull snug. I'm going to tie a half hitch knot here, like that, and do that a couple more times, going around, reinforcing, and tie your knot again a couple of times, advance through the beads, and then you could clip that thread off, or if it's too short, you can clip that thread off. If it's long enough, we'll use that to add a clasp at the end. But that's how you connect all of your stars. So if you want to make this a longer bracelet, just continue adding stars, and keep in mind that your clasp is going to add another ½ inch on each side. So allow an inch for the total length of the clasp to whatever length bracelet you choose to make. So go ahead and get that tied off. and I'll show you how to do the clasp. Okay, for the clasp, for today's bracelet, I'm using a magnetic round clasp. I've got this side already done, so I'm going to repeat what I did here on this side. I'll show you how to do it. So what you're going to do, if your thread was not long enough, you'll want to thread a new piece long enough, like about 12 inches, and you want it exiting this 11/0 right here. So that's where you want your thread coming out of. So do some half-hitch knots to add a new piece of thread if you need to, and just advance your needle so you're coming out of this first 4mm fire polish where this little point is, because you want your clasp to be centered in between these two stones right here. So from here I'm going to be picking up 4 11/0s. And I'm going to pick up an accent bead. I'm going to use the clear fire polish here to give it a contrast. The reason I'm doing that is because on this side I had the white star, so I did pink for the accent for the clasp. So just to have the contrast in color, I chose to go with the clear. You can do it whichever way you want. Okay, so you've got the 4 11/0s, your fire polish. Now you're going to pick up 3 more 11/0s, your magnetic clasp, 3 more 11/0s, bring that down. So from here, I'm going to go back through my fire polish bead and that next 11/0, like that. Pull that snug. So now I'm going to pick up 3 more 11/0s. And I'm going to go through this fire polish right here, through this side, like that. Just pull that snug. And you want those 11/0 seed beads to be on each side of that clasp, like that. So it's not, you don't want the thread resting on the clasp. You want the seed beads snug up right next to where the clasp hole is. So just pull that snug. You might have to resituate it so that the 11/0s are seated properly. So from here, we're going to reinforce this 2 more times. Bring your needle back through this 11/0 and the fire polish bead right here where we started. And bring your needle back through all the 11/0s, the fire polish, the 11/0, the magnet, clasp, and so forth. And do that 2 more times, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, I've reinforced this 3 times. I'm coming out of this 11/0 here. I'm going to do a half-hitch knot right here. And it really doesn't matter where you do your knots, wherever is most convenient. And then I'm just going to advance my needle through a few more beads. I'm going to do another knot here. Advance through these next 2 beads, and I'm going to clip my thread right here. So there's our beautiful Starlight bracelet with a magnetic clasp. Very pretty. Let's see what the length ended up on this, because I made this with 6 stars using 4mm. So the 6 stars was about 6.5 inches. So I've got a 7.5 inch bracelet right here. So if you needed to, you could leave a star off and make it a 6.5 inch and just adjust your length accordingly with either adding more or less 11/0 seed beads where your clasp goes. The other option you have is you can do a lobster clasp with the chain extender, and that would be another versatile way to make this bracelet. Absolutely beautiful. And this is with 4mm fire polish. I told you I'd show you the one I made with 3mm, which is what the actual original design is, done with 3mm. But I didn't have enough of those, so I decided to try it out with a 4mm, and it actually looks pretty nice. This one I did using some copper and amber colored fire polish. These are 3mm with the gold spacers in between. And this I used a few more. I think I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 7 stars on this because the bead is smaller, so your length is going to vary. As you can see, the difference in the size of the stars. So very pretty. This is another way you can do, so whatever floats your boat, you have a lot of different options. You can also make them all the same color, which I've done that on a few bracelets in the past. Done all my stars the same color. So get creative. You can do several different colors of each star. If you wanted to do a rainbow, that would be very interesting to do. So this original design is by Yvonne Rivero. She wrote the book Beaded Bracelet 2. I don't think that book is in print anymore. It was actually a paperback I bought many years ago. But this is one of her designs. And so I will make sure and have the materials listed in the description box so you can see everything that's needed to make today's bracelet. I also have my own website where I sell my own jewelry, and you'll see a few of these listed for sale. So feel free to explore. Click the link and send me an email if you have any questions. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, I hope you do subscribe and hit that like button. That helps my channel. So thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful week and happy beading.